Hi all, and welcome back. I'm going to be very clear with this one because I don't want to waste your time. Do not buy Norse Oath of Blood right now. During my playthrough, I ran into issues almost constantly. Combat didn't always behave the way it should, I had repeated small bugs during encounters, and performance spikes that pulled me out of the experience more than once. It's technically playable, but those problems show up so often that even sticking to the facts, I have to say, just wait. If you're completely fine with rough launches, your tolerance might be higher than mine, but realistically for most people, this is a wait. So this video isn't about jumping in today. It's about whether the core idea here is strong enough to keep on your radar. If they start rolling out proper performance fixes and meaningful patches, I'll cover those as they land and show you what actually improved. So if you want to keep up with that, subscribe and ring the bell. And honestly, if that opening was all you needed and you're clicking off already, that's fair. If I just saved you time, at least like the video. Now, underneath those problems, there is a clear idea here. Norse Oath of Blood is a Viking Age turn-based tactical RPG built around a grounded revenge story set in Dark Age Norway. The combat structure will feel familiar if you've played something like XCOM, but this isn't a big sandbox tactics game where you're managing a global war and juggling dozens of systems. It's much tighter and more story-led, with smaller-scale missions and a light settlement layer that exists to support the narrative rather than run a strategy simulation. You play as Gunnar Gripsson, whose father is murdered by rival chieftain Steinar Farspear. After being forced into exile alongside your sister Sigrid, you're given land to rebuild and grow your strength step by step instead of rushing into full-scale war. You build a settlement, recruit allies, upgrade your village, and slowly prepare to reclaim your clan's honor. The story is a major pillar. There are frequent cutscenes, voice dialogue, and a strong focus on character interactions and clan politics. It genuinely feels like the game wants to tell a Viking saga first, with tactical combat reinforcing that instead of replacing it. You're not building an empire here, you're following a focused revenge arc. Combat is grid-based and driven by action points. Positioning matters a lot because elevation, flanking angles, destructible elements, and how your units work together can completely change how a fight plays out. You can push enemies into each other, break formations, and chain abilities between characters, so planning usually beats aggression. Before missions, you pick your squad and set their starting positions, which adds strategy before the first turn even begins. Units follow clear battlefield roles like archers, axe fighters, spearmen, and berserkers, each with branching specializations that slightly change how they function. Customization stays structured and readable, keeping the focus on battlefield decisions. Missions usually last around 20 to 30 minutes in contained but detailed environments. Objectives vary in theme, but the loop stays consistent. You move through the map, trigger encounters, complete the objective, gather resources, and return to your settlement. That settlement layer focuses on constructing buildings, assigning villagers, and unlocking upgrades that strengthen your warband. The campaign runs roughly 10 to 15 hours and follows a mostly linear arc centered on rebuilding strength and reclaiming your clan's honor. Presentation relies heavily on cinematic cutscenes, voiced dialogue, and a dark Nordic soundtrack that supports the setting when the game runs smoothly. When you zoom out, Norse Oath of Blood is a story-driven Viking tactics game built around structured combat encounters and light settlement progression rather than a large-scale strategy simulation. Right now, though, the technical issues show up often enough that they interrupt that experience. That's why this is a wish list game for the moment. If they address the performance and stability problems, I'll revisit it as those updates roll out. If you want more turn-based RPG coverage, check out my videos on the free-to-play game Vampires Fall 2 and Disciples Domination. They should be on your screen right now. That was it. If you like videos that do not waste your time, then please consider to like and subscribe. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.